In the past 24 hours, the most notable information for fans is that Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who owns 25% of the club's shares, as well as holds full authority over the sports sector at Manchester United, has announced his decision to have a meeting with the team's staff as well as the coaching staff and players of the men's and women's teams. This is considered an extremely important milestone in the context that the British billionaire wants to rebuild the Red Devils back to their correct position. He also expressed his views to the entire staff as well as the two men's and women's teams about his long-term plans, as well as the changes that will take place at the Theatre of Dreams in the near future. And to do this, Sir Jim also affirmed that money is not a concern for him. This statement is exactly what makes fans happy. After more than a year of selling the Old Trafford team, the historic transfer deal has finally come to an end. It was Sir Jim Ratcliffe who was the winner, accepting to buy 25% of the club's shares. However, he also included the provision that he would have full control over Man United's sports sector, which is not a big problem for the Glazer family, because they were not interested in this job before. Of course, the British billionaire's ultimate goal is to acquire all the Red Devils and at the same time end the presence of American owners for nearly 2 decades. But at the moment the Glazers still don't want to let go of the club and they are hanging on to collect as much money as possible before leaving with a sack of money. And that's why fans just want them out of sight as soon as possible. But that will be a story of the future. Because at the present time Sir Jim Ratcliffe is conducting the necessary procedures to start his work after completing the acquisition of 25% shares. The documents will be forwarded to the Premier League Organising Committee for review and approval. And after about 3 to 6 weeks, he officially announced his debut at the club. However, the president of Ineos has also made moves to grasp the job, by sending Dave Brailsford to work recently. Jim Ratcliffe's right-hand man was present to watch Ten Hag's team compete, as well as have working sessions with Ten Hag's team to grasp the club's situation in order to plan for the next leg. Manchester United's comprehensive reconstruction path. The 71-year-old man's love for the Old Trafford team is huge. Therefore, he took advantage of the first days of the new year to visit the club's headquarters, meet with the board of directors and staff, and especially have a working session with the men's and women's teams. The image of Sir Jim shaking hands and chatting with coach Erik ten Hag is the most prominent mark in the past 24 hours. After the conversation with the new boss who will run the Red Devils' activities, the Dutch strategist could not help but feel happy and his spirit became buoyant. Because the two had found a common voice to discuss, understand each other better and look forward to future work. He also shared with The Telegraph after the moment of meeting the British billionaire, "The meeting was very positive. We met and sat together for many hours. Both sides have similar views on the issue. There are many issues at the club, so the situation is very positive. We think we had a constructive meeting from both sides. I myself am very excited to work together with them, discuss many problems. And when we have the same frequency, the parties can work together very easily. Ineos side has presented some ideas to me. The discussion is still going on. Regarding strategy, I think the parties will cooperate together. We have to let them adapt because they just came and introduced themselves. They have good ideas. We have to see how to apply it. But if only after a while. It's impossible to say anything in a day. Everyone must not rush but must act in order. It's still too early to say anything for sure, when the parties have only worked together for one day." In addition to meeting with the former Ajax captain, Sir Jim also met with highly anticipated young recruit Rasmus Højlund along with a few core members of the women's team before going out to the training field to observe the players preparing for the FA Cup third-round match against Wigan. This is an image that I couldn't remember even when I was looking for it. When was the last time the Glazer family went to Carrington Center? Sir Jim's conversations were also revealed by the 53-year-old leader, which is that important decisions at the club must be approved by the British billionaire, from transfers to upgrading facilities, up to the appointment of a few important positions. That is the job that needs Sir Jim to make the final decision, to unify, and he will know how the club is operating. Also during the meeting, the head of the club also assured the staff that he will prioritize success on the field over financial profits. He is determined to resolve the issues that have plagued the club over the past decade. The 71-year-old man also said that although the money pouring into the Theatre of Dreams is a lot, but the lack of a clear strategy along with ineffective factors has led to failures. What Sir Jim Ratcliffe shared was like a slap in the face of Richard Arnold, who had just left his position as CEO of Man United. Arnold once said, "The Red Devils are progressing and approaching Man City, and are gradually catching up with other opponents in the land of fog. The truth at Manchester United is much worse, and that is why Sir Jim just wants to quickly complete approval from the organising committee to start work." In today's time, making money is as important as professionalism. Both must go hand in hand if you want to achieve success. And for the Old Trafford team, they have never worried about lacking money when the attraction and value that this name brings is not small. That's why the British billionaire said he wanted to measure success by titles, not the amount of money earned. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's statement seemed to confirm that money is not too important to him. It can even be compared to a rusty nail. What is worth mentioning here is how to use it, because having money is not everything. Professional factors are still a prerequisite for winning titles. So we must focus on improving this issue for the team. Sir Jim himself was not interested in making money from the $1.3 billion investment. He just wants to make major improvements to Old Trafford Stadium, training ground and Carrington Academy. At the same time, he said that the additional funding of $300 million United States dollars that will be converted into equity is only the beginning of his support for the goal of bringing the Red Devils back to their rightful position. Not just a visit like riding a horse to see flowers. Sir Jim Ratcliffe also held a Q&A session with staff working at the club. Here, the 71-year-old man also has to accept the fact that he currently cannot help Man United with the transfer and will have to wait until the Premier League approves this historic agreement. If this is accomplished, INEOS's influence will begin in a more serious and visible way. In addition, Britain's richest billionaire said, he and Dave Brailsford can then learn more details about the transfer target, the current trading situation, as well as many core players who are starting to have problems with coach Erik ten Hag. The ultimate goal of the president from the land of fog and his colleagues is to achieve success by working together and not giving any personal opinions. He is determined to resolve the issues that have plagued the club over the past decade. When the Glazer family began to show laziness as well as wanting to sit cool and eat a bowl of gold. What fans of the Old Trafford team want most from any club acquisition is potential, 100% dedication, always ready to put the team's fans on the priority list, leading in all their activities, and aim to regain the golden image of this team. Sir Jim's frankness about the club's shortcomings was received differently than in the case of the Glazers. It is known that Joel Glazer has not spoken directly to his employees since taking power in 2005. And this is a new step for everyone to be motivated to work and work towards the common goal of bringing Man United back. With their inherent position, with a new boss who doesn't care about money and is willing to give everything just to make the team better. That is extremely valuable, and hopefully Sir Jim will keep this statement during his career. His job was to quickly resolve the crisis at the Theatre of Dreams over the years. Fans always have to live in a state of discomfort and frustration every time they see how the Glazer family works. They have siphoned off not a single penny. And spending money on the transfer market is not effective, while the facilities are increasingly deteriorating. Protests have also consumed a lot of money and time. Therefore, what Red Devils fans need is a leader who is both thoughtful and thoughtful, to not only pay more attention to football activities but also to be a bridge between the team and the fans. To create a powerful team. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's first visit after officially taking a 25% stake in the club left a lot of promise ahead. Although it is difficult to influence this year's Eastern market, with his experience and insight, the 71-year-old man knows what he must do to avoid falling into the same mistakes of the past. Finally, the British billionaire said that his decision to spend a large amount of money to own 25% of Manchester United's shares was not for the purpose of making money. Never in his mind did there exist a concept of money from Man United. There are so many ways and so many investments that he can make money. And buying back shares in the club is because he wants to bring the Red Devils of Manchester back to big titles soon. Rays of light have begun to appear and hopefully the Old Trafford team will transform strongly with Ineos towards future success.